All right. So in our last sort of video, we added this player class, and it let us move the player car back and forth while cars came at it. And so the last method we're going to add here is a collide method. And this method's going to determine if a car is touching a player. So we'll add this inside class car, but you could put it in other places, but just for our examples, we'll put it in class car. And this is a generic car, and we want to know if this car is touching a player. So the information we're going to want to pass to this method is going to be the player. And then we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem to determine if the player and the car are colliding. So if I can just pull up my whiteboard here, I'll show you. This will take a moment to load. But basically, if we think of our car and our player as circles, we will be able to okay. It's easier if I draw it out. Okay, so okay. So here's our car's position, and here's our player's position. We want to think of them as sort of being circles. And so if these two circles overlap, then they've collided. So we look at the distance between the centers of the points. So if you remember Pythagorean theorem, we have c squared is a squared plus b squared. And this distance, a squared, the car is up y height, and the player is up its y height. So this distance, since car is above player in this example, a is going to be the car y minus the player y. So the difference. And the same reasoning is true for the x coordinate, where we can subtract them to get the value of b. So car x minus player x. And now if we go back to our code here, we can start to think about what this is going to look like. So we're inside car. So self.xcore. To square it, we'll use double asterisk. And at some point, we know we need to do self.ycore, square it. So this, not self.xcore, but the difference between self.xcore, meaning the car, and player.xcore. So square that difference and square that difference. And I'll make this a variable. I'll call it dist square equals there. So it's the sum of the two squares. And then to get the value of c, just the distance, I'll use the square root, which is also, a square root is also to the power of 0.5, to the power of 1/2, because it undoes the squaring operation. So 0.5. And then I'll say if the distance between the two objects, and I'm just going to guess a value here, maybe 20, then I'll return true, which is say I'll return, yes, we have collided. Otherwise, I'm going to return false. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a print statement that just says collide. And so if I call car.collide player, I should be able to see whether or not we collide. Okay, nothing's happening yet. Oh, did I avoid it? Okay, let's try and get hit this time. Okay, I definitely should be colliding now. Yeah, and I'm colliding. So 20 seemed like a pretty good value. So if my car collides, I probably wanna break out of the loop. So I can say, um, you know, if car.collide. So if since car.collide will return true if there is a collision, this is saying if there is a collision, then here's what I can do. I can say running equals true. So I'm making a variable. And while running, I'll do these things forever. Car.collide. If there's a collision, we'll set running to false. And so if running is false, then while running won't run anymore because it's false now. And then I'll also call break. And what break does is it's going to go up to the loop that is most recent, and it's going to break out of that loop. So we're in two loops here. We're in the while running loop, and we're in the for loop here. Running equals false means that next time we go up to check the condition of the while loop, we're not going to run it again. And this break means that we're going to stop running the for loop and we're just going to go out into the while loop. So if I run that now, okay, I should be able to avoid. I avoided. Nice. And now I should be able to collide as well. Collide right there. And we stopped the game. So this is sort of these are all the features we need for Crash. Now in this example, I think there's a lot of things that are, there's a lot of ways that you can improve this Crash. So I would strongly encourage you to do so. The first thing I notice is that these cars, when they relocate, we see them relocate. We don't want that to happen. We want to hide the turtle when they relocate. And we want to make it seem like the car is just coming down and then it comes down around again. Whoa. Made my window small. The other thing is these cars sort of bunch up like this. How can we, and we collided. How can we choose a random value so that our cars are less likely to coincidentally end up like this? A hint is to give each car its own lane rather than randomly pick values for the x coordinate. And finally, this goes along with the first thing, which is we want to start the cars. We don't want to spawn the cars like this. We want it to just seem like they come down. So maybe hide the car and then have it spawn somewhere up here and make it look like it's coming down. Then it goes off screen and then it relocates and then it comes down around again. So that's those are some of the things we can fix with Crash, as well as just adding bells and whistles to the game. So maybe you can figure out a way to count a score. Maybe you can figure out a way to make it harder as the game goes on. figure out ways to play around with the speed. These are all really cool areas that you can work on to make your game stand out. So that's it for Crash, and good luck, guys.